And Andrew here and the whole crew really from Nashville Severe Weather, and we're back on here. Let's see. Wednesday was yesterday. Today is Thursday, and we are still doing this. So big cell coming into Davidson County now. Severe thunderstorm warning now for Davidson County, and this is for a hailer up there around Beeman Park. So 60 mile per hour wind gusts and quarter size hail are possible with this. Wouldn't be surprised if it grows a little bit and actually gets a little bit larger as far as hail sizes go up there around Beeman Park, Joelton, up at the old Fontenelle property there. So let's go look at correlation coefficient. And yeah, definitely see some brightening here in that. Totally convinced really that there is hail in there along Little Marrowbone Road and also around Bull Run Road and Old Hickory Boulevard there on the west sides of Davidson County. So we're not done with this yet, guys, and we have been we've been saying that. It's been kind of hard to believe with all of the storms we've had today. I think I was up at 4:30, 5 o'clock, something like that this morning. We were already starting with storms, but the atmosphere is not done. And in fact, behind this, we have our kind of main line of storms that's now coming through Huntington, back in Carroll County, Humboldt, approaching Jackson, Brownsville, Dover. So we still have this line to go back here to the west in West Tennessee that's going to be moving our way. These are storms that are out ahead of that main line. So another thing you see here glaring on the screen is this tornado warning down in Hickman County, down toward Lobelville and approaching Centerville. And that's for circulation that kind of got going in a hurry. This was a cell that really didn't look like a whole lot back there around Decaturville. And then it sort of got its act together and really turned into a supercell, guys. And it did it pretty fast and started rotating down at the low levels of the atmosphere there. And nobody likes that. So they issued a tornado warning on that for Hickman County back to our west. And we'll see how that evolves. We'll see if that holds together or if that continues, if it holds together and continues up our direction, or if that sort of fizzles and falls apart. But, the way things are going today, I wouldn't bet on that one. So Beeman Park up here in Davidson County, this is where the severe thunderstorm warning is right now, and a really good bet that there is hail falling there at Beeman Park, and I would estimate that it's probably, based on radar, it's probably at least nickel quarter size there, and that is right there around Beeman Park, and then that'll be approaching the Joelton. That'll be approaching the Fontenelle property, the old Fontenelle property there. We probably need to change the name of that, but anyway. And then that's going to be approaching I-24 and crossing I-24 there as a hailstorm. Not a lot of wind with it, unless I'm missing something. Looks like if there is wind, it's probably just breezy, but it doesn't look too threatening there, at least what I can tell on the radar as far as wind goes. Looks to be mostly a hail threat there in western Davidson County around Beeman Park, Joelton, and then Goodlettsville will be next. Now, we can't let this slide here. That's a lot of rain going through Beeman Park and Joelton and northern Davidson County again, and that could spell, in fact, it probably will spell additional flooding issues up there. We've seen a lot of pictures of flooding, especially up on the Highland Rim, but even so down in Davidson County as well, along Mansker Creek, the Baker's Fork of that runs into Mansker Creek, and some other creeks and small streams up there have really had some problems this afternoon and even this morning. So additional rainfall is no good up there. But hey, let's talk about some good news. Once this line moves through back here, which is now around Huntington and coming in, approaching the Tennessee River here shortly, then after that moves through, we're going to be done with that. So the severe weather will end at that point after that moves out of here. and I think we'll all be ready to call it a day right there at the beginning of our day. So get ready for Thursday. But it has certainly been a wild day out there. How's everybody doing? Y'all awake?
I'm awake.
All right. Let's talk about reports just for a second. Will, you're still over there taking reports, man. And so talk about what we're looking at as far as hail reports. What do you need over there from northern Davidson County?
Yeah, really more interested in flooding reports in northern Davidson County at the moment, hail reports as well, wind damage reports, but especially concerned about floodwaters that approach structures in northern Davidson County. So if you see flooding approaching homes or buildings, we really want to know about that.
Yes, for sure. And so, yeah, flooding's just been the issue up there. And we continue to want those flooding reports just because that will, help us better understand the situation up there and to see if flash flood warnings need to go longer or if things are settling down, all that kind of stuff. So that's tremendously helpful. So any reports you can give of any type of severe weather up there early this morning here would be great. And as usual, as you've done a great job of today, hashtag TSpotter on Twitter, and we will get those over to the Weather Service. Storm is sort of picking up a little bit of steam down here in Franklin. If I go up in the atmosphere here, I see a few purples and reds there. Looks like that storm there in Franklin might be trying to get its act together again. Right there around Sullivan Farms, Williamson County Ag Center, crossing I-65, right there around McKay's Mill. So we've seen some storms kind of get going right there in that area tonight, and they kind of form and then move off toward Nolanville and Triune, and then move over into Rutherford County. So it looks like it's doing that again, and could be some small hail in that storm as well, which has also happened within the past hour or two as well. We've had a couple little hailers come through there, very small compared to what we've had in other places. But you could hear some pinging on the roof and the windows. Let's look at this tornado warning back here in Hickman County. That's pointed right at us. And let's check on the rotation there. Doesn't look quite as impressive as it did earlier. Earlier we had pretty clear. This was back about 20, 30 minutes ago. We had very clear inbound winds here to the radar, some outbound winds there. And so we had a circulation there right along Highway 438E. I wish I had a better name for that, but out of Centerville that goes down toward into Perry County. So some rotation there. That doesn't look quite as strong, but we're gonna have to keep an eye on that. That storm's gonna have to be watched because that's what looks to me like a supercell, and we need to watch those today. All right. Yeah, boy, this storm up here in northern Davidson County is getting a lot more purple in it. So this thing's likely dropping some pretty impressive hail right around Crocker Springs Road and Licton Pike, and pretty soon Union Hill Road, right up there, not too far from the right up there where that drag strip is, and Ivy Point Greer Road, right there where that purple is. That's where I would expect to see the hail, and it could be quarter size for sure. Not seeing any rotation with that.
Getting reports of dime size hail in Jolton.
Dimes.
So that tracks.
Yep, totally. Yeah. Yep. So dimes in Jolton. I would expect that all the way up toward Bakers and Luton's and Millersville and on over into Sumner County. So it looks like that hail core's holding its own there as it moves east across the northern parts of Davidson County. So Ivy Point, Greer Road, that intersection up there, both those roads, Freeman Hollow Road, Baker Road, Old Springfield Pike, and that looks to be where this is going. It'll cross. I feel like I'm saying the same thing. We've talked about this area multiple times today. It'll cross Springfield Springfield Highway that runs from Goodlettsville, goes up the ridge, up toward Ridgetop and Greenbrier, and that's where the hail core will follow. And the hail core will cross each of these areas around Ivy Point. It'll cross Freeman Hollow. It'll cross Bakers. It'll cross Luton's. It'll cross over to like Tenon Road. Tenon Road's over there on the east side of the highway, and sort of runs back in the hollow there as you go up the ridge. And then it moves over into Sumner County. So that's what we're gonna expect with this. Yeah, definitely hail possible in there. That's for sure.
Looks like they let that tornado warning expire.
Great. Okay, good.
So this is a tornado warning that was southwest of Nashville that expired. Severe thunderstorm warning down there continues, and that's the storm we're eyeing to enter western Davidson County.
Say that again, Will. Say that again.
The Graham mentioned a tornado warning dropping off, and
Right.
Looks like the Weather Service is going to continue the severe thunderstorm warning. Looks like they just issued a new one that will clip southwestern Williamson County almost to Fairview and Leapers Fork. I think that's the cell that at least is, from what I can see, the strongest one on radar at the moment.
Yeah, Andrew, I was going to add, I've been doing a little bit of mesoanalysis, which is studying how the atmosphere is behaving. That's that tornado warning storm that's now a severe thunderstorm warning storm that Will was just talking about was feeding off a lot of storm fuel. And as those cells get further into Williamson County and further towards Nashville, the storm fuel drops off considerably. However, the shear is still pretty high. So there's a general expectation that the storm should weaken as it comes across. But that's built on a bunch of assumptions that I'm not comfortable making. It's just saying that the data suggests that as these get closer, they may start to come down a little bit.
We're already seeing that with that.
Hickman County we are. But contradicting that is the fact that that storm up in Nashville was dropping hail. Yeah. And according to this data, it shouldn't have enough fuel to power it up to keep that hail suspended aloft. So there's a lot that we just don't know right now about whether or not these storms are going to stay mature as they come across. And it looks like that severe thunderstorm warning is going to continue just going just along Briley Parkway and north of Nashville for that hail and damaging wind threat. So, yeah, that's my 2 cents on this one.
Yeah, thanks, David. That's really good. So we have 2 severe thunderstorm warnings now. We're not even to the main line yet. Oh man. So we've got this severe thunderstorm warning up here in northern Davidson County that's likely dropping hail around the Bakers area now. And then we've got this severe thunderstorm warning now for Williamson County, the southwest corner of Williamson County. Down to sorry guys, forgive me. Sorry. Yeah, it's been we're going to get close to 24 hours here by the time this is all out of here. So this covers down here Shoals Branch Road, Green Chapel Road, the Smarden community, Greenbrier community, these communities down here along 840 in southwestern Williamson County. That's where the severe thunderstorm warning is. And that's this storm here. The main part of it is back here, still west of Centerville, just a little bit, and but that'll be pushing east and will impact Williamson County here shortly if it holds together. But like David said, we really don't know. I mean, we don't know what kind of fuel this thing's sort of living off of here. And as we move through time, you can see it weakens a little bit. Of course, they let the tornado warning expire. So we hope that stays the case here. And it has a sort of a base level severe thunderstorm warning on it right now. So 60 mile per hour wind gusts and quarter size hail. So we hope it weakens further.
Yeah, that severe thunderstorm warning that clips southwestern Davidson, reading into it a little deeper, they're not really concerned about that rotation. More
Are you
concerned
talking about
about
Williamson County?
Yeah.
Okay.
More concerned about the straight line wind threat and the hail threat.
Yeah, that would make sense. Heavy rain coming into Nolanville once again. Right along Clovercroft Road and places like Sam Donald Road, Split Log Road, those neighborhoods in southeast Brentwood and western Nolansville. So heavy rain there again. That has really picked up. Nolansville really has not had a lot of rain today. In fact, it's been, I live down in that area, and it's been relatively dry really all day long. And just in the last a couple of hours here, we've gotten over an inch of rain in a pretty short amount of time. 1.13 is what my weather station's saying right now outside. So that's been since midnight, actually. So rain picking up now in places where we haven't had it today, and that's good. Hopefully we can spread it out a little bit. It's not all concentrated in one place, but man, northern Davidson and up on the Highland Rim sure has had a mess. Still a lot of rain going on up there. Okay, so let's take a look at this hailer that was up here in northern Davidson County. It looks like the part that would be dropping the hail looks to be crossing into Sumner County, or doing it very shortly. Maybe some hail up there around Baker Road. Right now, right there in the far northern tip of Davidson County up there in Bakers. Could be a little bit of hail up there still, but that'll be crossing over into Sumner and Robertson counties pretty soon.
Bruh, this main line is going to be here like between 3 and 4 a.m. It's a ways away.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
It's just moving so slowly.
Is there anything we can do about that, or
I
I would really appreciate it moving along.
mean,
personally,
no. I mean, frankly, we're on here for the severe thunderstorm warnings, but I mean, the flooding
oh yeah,
is gonna be legit.
Yeah.
Especially like in North Davidson County.
well, because it's going to train again. Look, I mean, this is
Yeah.
kind of an east northeast, west southwest orientation there. That's gonna
Yep.
take a while to move through.
That may be really the legacy of this one, because if you look, as you see there on the left of your screen, up near Dover and Aaron, there aren't any warnings on that cell. That's just flash flood. The warnings are kind of still in the Memphis region on the other side of the Tennessee River, near Camden and Huntington and what is that, Clarksburg and
Clarksburg,
Lexington.
yeah.
So, Yeah, hopefully it's just water and it speeds up. But the HRRR has been pretty consistent about like a 3 to 4 a.m. And I mean, shoot, it might pack more wind and hail because all of the wind energy is behind that line. So, and frankly, I don't even think the front is anywhere close to us, but that's just the one that's fired off. So, yeah, it's going to be a long night in and
Yeah.
of itself. I mean, this has been an incredible day just in terms of what the atmosphere is capable of doing. Usually you get tornado warned supercells come through, like we had, a half dozen at least of them in Middle Tennessee today, probably more. I didn't count them all. Usually that's it. After that happens, it's over. But no, this thing is not done. So yeah,
Yeah.
weird event.
Well, and I think I mentioned it just in our group a minute ago. I mean, it's just like I'm more used to getting up at and us covering these lines of storms that are severe during the night, and then they move on, and then we're good to go.
Mm-hmm.
This has just been a marathon. So, but that's what May can do sometimes. It's just been a while.
Yep.
Still a hail threat down here in Hickman County. That's staying with the storm. So still could be a hail threat there in southwestern Williamson County here in a little bit.
Does look a lot more blob-like currently.
Yep. Yeah, it doesn't have that quite as much of a classic tight supercell look to it, does it?
Significant moisture ball above the freezing line with that storm as well. One of the benefits of it being a little further away from the radar is we can see up it a little better. But at the upper elevations, right, it's definitely looks like it's producing hail up there. Whether it's making it to the surface or not, we don't really know without reports.
Yeah, there's a good CC drop there right around Centerville, which would
Yep.
indicate on that lowest radar scan we're getting some hail mixed in there.
Yep.
So I would imagine, that co-locates with the heavy reflectivity. So I bet you there is some, it's maybe some dimes and nickels falling in there, maybe quarters.
It's looking less and less like a classic tornadic supercell, though.
Yeah. Yes, it is. That's right.
The Hopkinsville radar has completely pulled that rear flank off of it. And then the rotation is spreading out instead of tightening, which is good. We want it to spread out. That means it's less suggestive of tornadic rotation. All of these storms are rotating a little bit, but that's true for most storms, frankly. This one does not look like the tornado producer it looked when Weather Service issued the warning.
Yeah, you see the bright blues going inbound to the radar, and way up here is the outbounds north of town there going out. So typically we would, for example, in Columbia earlier when we had the large tornado go through there, it became pretty evident pretty quickly. Those colors went right next to each other. Very, very textbook tornado signature there on radar. And we're just not seeing that with that cell out there in Hickman County. And to be clear, it's not tornado warned anymore. So it definitely has become more disorganized, but still has the hail threat with it and is likely producing hail based on what we're seeing here on radar, maybe even more so now than it was a few minutes ago. So the hail threat may actually be growing with this storm in Centerville rather than going down.
Yeah, the algorithms all suggest that it's probably got some small hail in it. Because that would be the only thing that would explain. It just makes sense that there's small hail in there.
Yeah.
which would put it kind of into like Craigfield, Greenbrier here in the next, I don't know, 30, 40 minutes. But again, once you get to Williamson County, you're starting to, as a theory that we have right now, those storms will be tapping less and less fuel, which may reduce the storm's ability to stay potent. But man, it's still producing cloud to ground lightning, which is a sure sign of health. So we'll see. But if you've just now waking up and wondering what's going on, why these guys on, it's 2 severe thunderstorm warnings, one up in Nashville near Jolton, Fontenelle, Madison, and Millersville, Bakers for hail. And then there's another one just coming into the western part of Williamson County. And by the way, over towards Nolanville, there's a ton of positive CG strike, cloud to ground strikes, which are those really loud ones that wake everybody up. What was that? Oh, they're just continuing.
Stormwatch Plus.
Storm warning. Yeah. Yeah. Stormwatch Plus will wake you up.
Yeah, it will.
It'll wake you up even if you are awake.
Yes. And that is the most obnoxious sound. It's so good. I've never been able to sleep through it. Unfortunately, I'm usually awake before the damn thing goes off.
I have never slept through one of those things.
It's impossible to sleep through it.
It is. It definitely is.
Especially
Could be
when I
some
put
small
my
hail
hoodie
over there
around
around Nolansville in that cell. All up and down that line of red and yellow, right there through Nolansville, between Nolansville and Triune. Could be some small hail in there. Wouldn't surprise me. But, it's so funny. It's like normally that'd be a big deal. Now I'm just kind of like, I mean, what's a little, what's some dime size hail?
Well, especially if everybody's already at home and asleep and in their house.
I mean, it's...
So hail hit your roof, so what?
Yeah, the people out in Oklahoma would laugh at us like it's dime size hail. It's whatever. That's kind of the way I am at the moment. It's like we've had so many bigger fish to fry today with the flooding and tornadoes and all that. So any of these storms, honestly, I mean, any of these storms that you see on radar could be dropping some hail on you. And if you're inside one of the yellow polygons, that hail could be a little bit larger and could be quarter size. So the main part of that hailer up there in Davidson has moved into Sumner now, by a pretty safe margin. So it looks like, the hail in that storm has exited Davidson. So that's good. We can pretty well consider that one gone. This one down here in Williamson, still back to the southwest.
Yeah, Weather Service is commenting. You don't want to turn your back on any of these storms, especially if one's rotated before, like this one down approaching into Williamson County. It's still got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so probably about a dozen CG lightning strikes in the last 5 minutes or so. But it doesn't have the shape. It has a really nice updraft, but it's probably just running out of shear to really get it moving, which is fine with me.
Mm-hmm.
This is fun. I don't know, Elon, what do you think? Hey, let's put the intern on the spot. The intern, he took a final this morning in Starkville, drove up here, and has been doing coverage with us since like 3:30. So I figured at 1:45 a.m. is the time to put him on the spot.
There's a lot of lines going on. About all I got.
Yeah.
Excellent. Well said.
Well, he'll be writing our blog tomorrow. So
morning.
Late.
Yeah, later. Elon, that blog's going to be due at 5:30 a.m. Just write it whenever you want. Though, actually, the rest of the week looks pretty great. Actually, so
yeah.
course, let me double check that now that I say that. I don't see rain in the forecast potentially until maybe late Monday. And then probably the next rainer will be Tuesday night, Wednesday of next week, 14th and 15th. The 15th of May, by the way, the high water marker. It's usually our rainiest day climatologically.
Interesting.
But yeah, stuff on Saturday looks fantastic. Everything should be dried out. Dew point will be down in the 40s, which would be nice. 70s. So if you're a steeplechase person, perfect for that. So sports and rollerball stuff will be fine. And Saturday night will be a great night to go to the to see a rock show somewhere in Nashville if you want. What's that place called? East something Bowl.
East Side Bowl.
East Side Bowl. Go to the East Side Bowl. You might see one of us playing guitar. Yeah. So, all right. So our severe thunderstorm that was up in Nashville has been allowed to expire. So the severe thunderstorm warning in Nashville is over, but we still have to watch the line as it starts to drape down. So if you can see, Andrew, like from Springfield over to Waverly, that's the main line that's coming through.
Yep.
That's going to run over heavily saturated roads and cause additional water runoff and additional flooding to a place that doesn't really need it anymore. So certainly if you don't have to be out, and I think I'm talking to everybody, I don't think anybody who wants to be out is going out right now. But you encounter a water covered road, just don't even risk it.
Weather Service says that all the current warnings are focused on the wind threat. And I think David mentioned that just a second ago. All those warnings are focused on the wind threat. The hail threat has decreased over the past little bit. So that's, I don't know. I guess that's good. We sort of get to focus on wind threat. That's helpful, I suppose. Hail and, of course, the flooding threat. Speaking of that, there was an interesting stat here the Weather Service put out, and now this was for Clarksville, but it just sort of gives you an idea of what they've experienced up there north of us. Officially, Clarksville's airport measured 4.3 inches of rainfall yesterday, so that would have been, before midnight. And that is the most since May 1st, 2010. When 4.67 inches of rain was recorded there. So
a date that will live in infamy.
Yes, that day rings a bell with a lot of you.
That was the first day of the giant flood.
Yeah.
It was May 1st through 3rd of 2010. What we think is the Nashville severe weather birthday, although that date is in question. Yeah.
The Weather Service also just put a note in chat that's very important, and it is great news. So the end is finally in sight of these storms. They have cleared the Stewart County area up here. So we're starting to see our first county now be cleared of the last line of storms.
But that's not us.
It's not us. We are
land
not
between
Stewart
the lakes area up there, Stewart County.
Yeah, that's up here in Stewart County, land between the lakes. So this is the kind of the first county in Middle Tennessee up there, and that line has cleared there now. So we still got a little time, but we're getting there. We've got some more junk to go through here. So that severe thunderstorm warning remains in effect down there in Hickman County and southwestern Williamson County. This is the time of day where I can easily misspeak, so I want to be careful what I'm saying.
Well, that's what we have Elon here for, is we can blame him for any errors.
Yeah. So 60-mile-per-hour winds possible inside that polygon there. Hail threat has come down some, and the Weather Service noted that just a few minutes ago. They're really focused on the wind threat with these. And, that's really been what these storms have been marketing for quite a while now on the models. is that this final line of storms, this final complex of storms, would be mostly a wind threat and damaging straight line winds. That's where we got our what was it, 45% risk with SPC. Basically, the what you probably heard through the day yesterday was we had a moderate risk from SPC. Well, that was because of the wind threat specifically, and so that's been the concern all along. With this last line is the wind threat, and so definitely if you're within one of these yellow polygons here, for example, in southwestern Williamson County, 60 mile per hour wind gusts could be an issue here as this comes through. And it's just now, the heavy part of it's just now starting to come into southwestern Williamson. So Lick Creek Road, Lampley Road, Barnhill Road, Younger Creek Road, Pinewood Road. So some of the communities down there. Craigfield, Greenbrier, Smarten, Garrison Springs.
I got the Wordle.
Nice.
Did you?
Four tries.
Very nice.
But I'm also a big believer in the don't spoil the Wordle camp.
Oh yeah.
So before I knew how to not do that,
Were you a Wordle spoiler?
I was one of those that I would, text it to a couple of friends and say, I got it or whatever. And they're like, dude, what are you doing? He just sent us the whole thing.
I think that was the last straw for Larry David's romantic relationship. Season of Curb. He was so mad at her because she would wear Wordle.
Exactly. So funny.
He's not wrong. Well, as you can tell,
this
we
is a
aren't
really
very
messy.
alarmed right now. I don't see any supercellular structures. Frankly, it's the flash flooding, which I thought if you guys were all out running around town doing things, I'd be more concerned. But hopefully you're sleeping. Although there's a lot of lightning coming into western Williamson County with positive CG strikes and stuff, so that might be noisy and wake you up. I read a book about hot chicken. I finished it. It was pretty good.
Like the history?
Yeah, the history of hot chicken. I had no idea. It was bugging me because I didn't really understand it. And so, what's it called here? Hang on a second. It's upstairs.
Turning off the flash flood warnings just for a second, just so we can sort of see what severe warnings are in effect. So just got this one here in Hickman County, western Williamson. This one back here for the main line back in Humphreys County. But man, even just the main line, it just looks so messy. Like it's not a crisp line. It's not a bow. It's just a big mess.
It's called Hot Chicken, a Nashville Story by Rachel Louise Martin, who's a local writer. Very well written. And I am now smarter for having read it.
Are you craving hot chicken now?
What I really want to go up to like the real places that have the hot chicken.
Yeah.
Like the OG places, but like the author, I don't know that I could handle it. I mean, I can barely drink a cup of coffee. So, I mean, you got to really like the spice, and I am not that kind of person. But just learning about like where hot chicken came from was fascinating. And you learn a lot about the history of where we live and like how Nashville grew up and how the vulnerable and underrepresented populations were basically screwed for decades by the government at the time. So it's a really instructive book on our history that I recommend. Hot Chicken, a Nashville Story by Rachel Louise Martin. So there's our book review segment of this coverage that we're only on because this severe thunderstorm warning storm is now scooched into Greenbrier and Craigfield in southwest Williamson County, close to Leapers Fork. It'll be there soon.
Yeah, that's
And
really
to clarify, there are no tornado warnings. A lot of people in the chat saying, "Oh, well, I'm up and hungry for information." There isn't a ton of information to give at the moment. The flooding threat is what has me most concerned right now. If you're up because you're worried about storms, you're hearing thunder, lightning, perhaps small hail hitting you. I get that. There is one corner of our county with a tornado warned storm.
severe thunderstorm.
Severe thunderstorm warned storm. It doesn't look like they're going to extend that severe thunderstorm warning further into Williamson County. So yeah, we're backing off. I think some of what we thought was going to be intense. Looking at forecast soundings, completely saturated column, no big parameters out of whack. Cape sub 300. Shear numbers are pretty low. We're from a purely meso standpoint, we're looking pretty good.
And that would make sense because it looked like the dynamics that are over Williamson and Davidson counties are much less supportive of severe weather than those storms, than the areas west of us, which is where these warnings are issued. So I feel pretty good about that. Somebody just asked, what are our anxiety levels?
Enough to talk about hot chicken during a live stream.
Right, but no, they are going to reissue that severe thunderstorm warning moving into southern Williamson County, so they're going to keep that going.
All right.
Okay.
Yep.
Spoke too
soon. The parameters that we have, the surface base cape is relatively low, but there is quite a bit of cape aloft, and that's why you're hearing these storms so loudly, because there's still a lot of cape aloft that just because they're not surface based doesn't mean that they don't have a lot of fuel up there, and they can feed off it up there. So even it may be cool and kind of stable down here, it can still be unstable up there, and we're getting a lot of lightning out of them. So that's one of the clues that there's still a lot of fuel aloft, maybe not at the surface, but aloft, is when you get the lightning that we've been getting out of these storms. I mean, there's been lightning in these storms before there's even been rain at the surface in a couple of them, down here in Williamson County at least, and then the rain starts falling. So a lot of fuel aloft. Yeah, the shear numbers aren't phenomenal. It definitely looks less volatile than it did yesterday, whatever it is.
Some of the videos look like strobe lights out there of just the continuous lightning that's illuminating the sky.
Yeah, absolutely. It is. And that's the atmosphere still has a little bit of juice left in it. And I think we're seeing this last line use that up and then be done.
Weather Service points out that the storm going into Williamson, Murray County, that's been severe warned here, or that's going to be, that is severe warned, is going north of the damage path. So the severe warned storm will be north of the tornado damage path that was in Columbia. So new severe thunderstorm warning is out. Andrew, why don't you tell us about it?
Yep. Covers almost all of Williamson County. And this is going to be for a storm that is, it's warned for 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts and penny-size hail. Again, the hail threat in this is penny-size hail is not considered severe. It has to be quarter-size to be severe. So 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts, however, are considered severe. So this follows their thinking they've been giving us, which is, hey, we think the wind threat is higher than the hail threat and even the tornado threat. So severe thunderstorm warning here for 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts possible here in a good part of Williamson County, most of it. So really everybody west of Franklin right now getting some heavy rain. I'm going to turn the lightning on. You're going to see a red box pop up. Don't get all worried about that. That's just showing our parameters of where high resolution lightning is. So yeah, a lot of cloud to ground lightning strikes in that cell and all the way down into Murray County as well. So that's a pretty big storm. It's still a pretty big storm. It's got a lot of fuel up there aloft to feast off of. And it's just is dropping a lot of lightning, lots of it. And so as that pushes east, it'll get more and more noisy. Around Franklin, it'll get more noisy.
Franklin's about to wake up, isn't it?
Yep. It'll go through Franklin, it'll be pretty loud, and then eventually get over to Nolanville here in the next, let's say 30 to 45 minutes. And so it'll get increasingly louder as it gets closer to you. And then after that moves through, we still have one more line to go. And hopefully it won't be quite as loud, but we'll just have to see about that. All right, so again, let me simplify this display just a little bit. I'm going to turn the lightning off. I'm going to turn the flash flood warnings off.
I need to update my GR.
And I'm going to turn off the radar just so we can kind of see where the polygons are. So here you can see Williamson County pretty clearly there. There's Williamson County, and this polygon covers almost all of it, and part of southeastern Davidson as well. I think I forgot to say that, but part of southeastern Davidson County as well. So it covers places like Antioch, Cane Ridge, and over toward Percy Priest Lake. And that's where the polygon is now. And the storm's over on the west side of it. Let me turn the flash flood warnings back on. Those flash flood emergencies are still in effect up there in Greenbrier, Springfield, Portland, Hendersonville. It's rough up there. A lot more rain coming in.
Yeah, I would expect they're going to have to reissue flash flood for that open section in northern Davidson.
Yeah, this kind of empty section of northern Davidson here, yeah.
Yeah, no, I see on Twitter a lot of y'all are up. A lot of you remember tornadoes in the middle of the night. There's no tornado warnings active, none expected. Some of you, like me, who sign up for these municipal alerts are getting an alert of the severe thunderstorm warning now. That's in Williamson County. That's all it is. It's not a tornado warning, and we're sitting here looking at all the little software that helps us suss out tornadoes and do not see anything at the moment that is concerning of tornado. I am watching kind of the back end of that cell that's severe warned near Duck River, but even that looks okay for now.
Yeah, I think our helicity numbers are lower than they were earlier today.
Yeah,
just the
your
way
comment,
these...
Andrew, about it, but them being aloft, all this energy being aloft.
Yeah.
So what that means is all the energy is way up in the air, and to get tornado, you usually have to have energy from the surface going up to aloft.
Yeah, and I'm even looking at this. Will sent a model sounding here a little bit ago, just kind of what the model thinks the atmosphere might look like, and I'm looking at that off screen here, and even just the way the wind parameters are there from the surface up to about 3 kilometers. It's sort of perpendicular to the motion of these storms, so that would explain why our spin is just a little bit less than maybe it was earlier.
Mm-hmm.
So that's all. Those are all good things. Those are all good things, and would make it more difficult for a storm to, crank out a sizable tornado like we had earlier today,
Or even a small one. Yeah.
or even a small one for that.
Yeah.
But yeah. Even a small one. I mean, any kind of tornado, it just makes it difficult to do that. So that's why really our threat now appears to be like 60-mile-per-hour winds. Like there's these little pockets in here of like 53, 54, 55 mile an hour,
Yep.
potentially 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts here inside this polygon. So it doesn't appear to be happening everywhere, but let's look at TBNA. Like here's one here, right here around Pinewood Road, there's 58 to 60 mile per hour wind gusts there approaching Leaper's Fork. And that seems kind of like what this is, just pockets within this big polygon. There'll be little pockets of 60 mile per hour wind.
Pockets. What a word.
Pockets.
Do want to say one other thing, and I almost tweeted this out earlier. Some of the severe weather or the response agencies to disasters were asking people to not try to go down south where the tornadoes were, just so you can get photos or video of the tornado destruction that was down there, to please stay away. There's a lot of work that needs to be done down there, and the last thing they need is somebody with good intentions to go down there and try to help when they don't really know what they're doing. It requires a special kind of training to be able to assist down there. So please do not do that. The way to help would be to wait until a reputable organization says, here's how you can help, before you try to go down there and help, because those people will need help down there. But let's keep it organized, and let's use your time effectively. Andrew, it looks like the cell's kind of perking up over there between Boston and Theta.
Yep.
Yep,
it does, and looks like it's getting a little bit more. Hey, look, northern Davidson County, another flash.
Yeah, there
flood
you go.
warning
They
there.
filled it in.
So new flash flood warning there for northern Davidson County, and that's still 6 a.m. So that is a sort of a base level flash flood warning there. But nonetheless, could be some real trouble up there with as much water as is coming through right now. But David, you're exactly right. It looks like it's perking up a little bit down there. The hail core around Boston is kind of getting going again. If I had to guess, I'd say right there around Theta, between Theta and Boston, right there along Boston Theta Road and Leapers Creek Road, and right there on up around 840. Right there could be some hail in that purple area there. So, the warning here allows for, let's see, they expect penny-size hail. That looks about right. That doesn't, there's nothing in here that just screams really, really large hail in here. Penny-size hail is probably what's coming out of that right there. That looks about right. So hopefully that'll decrease again and not get stronger. But those of you around Thompson Station, if you don't live too far from, let's see, Columbia Pike and 840. Excuse me.
Yeah, Independence High School.
Independence High School. That's what I was trying to think of. Independence High School.
Over by Ladd
that's right
Park,
there.
Wilco Fair, Goose Creek.
Yep, that's where the that hail core is moving. So again, hopefully it won't be too big. Penny-sized hail, shouldn't be too bad, but it'll be noisy. That is for sure. Penny-sized hail will wake you up.
So will, according to Meredith on Twitter, Stormwatch Plus. It will wake you up.
It does, in
Yes, it
fact,
will.
wake you up. Thanks for the recommendation, and maybe my heart rate will get back to normal by next week. Glad we could help.
Where's the mute button?
We lost him.
I'm okay. I was choking up on my own comedy. Yeah. Wow. Okay.
I'm yawning uncontrollably.
I
I'm
am
encouraged by
gonna
the
be a
way,
peach tomorrow.
huh?
I am going to be a peach tomorrow.
I am encouraged by the way this line looks.
Yeah.
From a severe standpoint. This is not the gnarly windbag that we were dreading dealing with.
Yeah, the HRRR model had like a bunch of wind punching right through the middle of it, so that it bowed. Like it
Yeah,
was
we
blowing
were
so
right at
hard
the
that the thing
apex
would
of that bow too.
Yeah, and that was the concern that we might even see like 70, 80 mile an hour straight line winds. That is not materializing out of this thing at all. Which, by the way, we've earned it. We've earned one break today. Frankly, I would have used it all up on that tornado emergency to keep that from happening. But this is, I mean, a lot of people lost roofs down there. Last thing they need is more water in there. So, unfortunately, they're getting it. But it's sad, man. This lightning is getting closer to Franklin. Looks like it should be rolling up into Sullivan Farms over to Franklin Green, West Haven. Hopefully it doesn't wake you up, but if it does, we'll be here as long as this warning is active.
Yeah. It's a good night to have the dogs and the kids and everybody all in the same bed. So
when I brought the crate downstairs to put in our tornado closet, my eldest dog looked at me like, this isn't right. Like this, like I wish I would have been recording that dude, because the look on his face.
New MD.
Oh, thanks. Oh, fantastic. Let's have a look. What's it say?
See what they say. Wind damage, isolated large hail, and tornado threat will likely continue for several more hours. New weather watch may be needed within the hour. So what we are reading is this right here. This is an update from the Storm Prediction Center, and they point.
Shout out Kelton Halbert.
Let's text him and say he's probably asleep. What are you doing, bro?
I don't think we need to be texting anybody right now.
What's it doing in Oklahoma?
So Storm Prediction Center kind of highlights our area here, saying could need another weather watch. We'll have to see what that includes if they.
Except once our line comes through, we're done.
Exactly. Once the line comes through, we're done. So surely they wouldn't include counties that have already seen the line.
Don't call me Shirley.
I haven't heard that one in a long time. Still a hail threat around Beechwood Plantation, South Hall. I think it looks a little bit more impressive than it did just from the hail perspective. So could be some hail falling in there. Leapers Fort, Beechwood, Burwood, approaching Keystone, South Hall, and up and down Columbia Pike here in a little bit. So that's what these dark reds and purples. That's probably some brief hail falling in there.
Yep.
It's headed directly for my house, and am I worried about it? Absolutely not.
Path of this part of the storm, and my family is sleeping, and I'm not going to bother them.
Same.
Of course, this thunder might have a better idea of if they get.
You might see my family in a minute. They all might come barging through the door. But yeah, that's not too concerned about this one. All right, so the main line is now inside Davidson County, and around Bells Bend, Beeman Park, Jolton. That rain that you're getting, as bad as it is to get more rain, that rain that you're getting is the main line. So once that lightens up and pushes out, you're done. You're good. Now you'll have a flood threat that will continue because there's going to be a lot of runoff into the creeks. So like White's Creek up there, White's Creek carries a lot of water, and for northwestern Davidson County, and this is going to take a little while for that to all filter down through White's Creek and eventually get to the Cumberland River. Cumberland River is going to be running pretty high the next couple of days. That's for sure. So as they move water down the river, it's gonna take a little while, but it's gonna be running pretty good. So and then over on the east, as you get to east of 65, you have Dry Creek, Mansker Creek, and some of those other big ones over there that carry a lot of water. So as everything runs off, there'll be a flood threat for a while after the rain ends, and but once those streams go down, I think our danger level really decreases. We'll mention this, though. Tomorrow, as you go to, or I should say today, when the sun comes up, if you head out and you're going to work, whatever, be very careful of maybe culverts that have washed out, road hazards, places, especially up in the more rural areas of Davidson County or anywhere you're listening from. Watch for, those culverts can wash out from under the road, and that could be a big problem. That we see quite a few videos of that happening, and that's not good. So be real careful with that as you drive.
Some things to add to that. Andrew, Stones River near Donaldson is 2 feet above action stage. That's
actually back up. That's actually back up from the Cumberland River, which is really interesting. That happens over
Cumberland
there.
River is 2 feet away from action stage downtown.
Yeah.
There are a couple over Cumberland River near Hermitage, 4 feet below action stage and rising.
New severe thunderstorm warning for Williamson County and Davidson County. This is going to be for the main line, we'll call it, that is still back in Hickman County and Dixon County. And this storm has a big old polygon on it that includes about half of Williamson County and the southwestern quarter of Davidson County here. So let's see what this is for. This is for 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts, penny-size hail. So same thing. Could be some strong wind gusts in there as this comes through. Maybe some non-severe size hail. But some 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts are possible with it as it pushes in. And that will be impacting us over the next, let's see, when did I say this expires? Expires in 40 minutes. So it expires 3 o'clock. 3 o'clock. Can't do math right now. This is a lot of polygons, guys.
A lot of very messy looking.
I mean, I've had to turn off my lightning just to see the velocity data on it.
Yeah.
And then it's got all these overlays on it. I don't know how y'all are supposed to figure out what any of this means.
Let me turn the flash flood warnings off here for a second, just so we can sort out what we've got. Let me turn off the.
Yeah, same. I'm doing the same thing.
There we go. All right, let's simplify this just a little bit. So, the 2 severe thunderstorm warnings that we have, one of them is for this storm that's up and down 65 in Williamson County. It takes up a good chunk of Williamson County. This is one storm that has a severe thunderstorm warning on it, and it's for the possibility of 60-mile-per-hour winds. So, Will, have we gotten any reports of such?
Only reports really of lightning, which is not reportable severe criteria, so no.
Okay. So No reports yet of that. If you do experience 60-mile-per-hour winds, I'm sure that would really help the Weather Service. So let us know if you have wind damage or something like that. I know it's very early in the morning, but if you're woken up by 60-mile-per-hour winds, you'll know it. That'll get you up. So if you know or if you see that outside or something, if you could just let us know that hey, you experienced something you think was 60-mile-per-hour winds, that'd be helpful. So that's one severe thunderstorm warning here. And then the back one here is currently in Hickman County coming into Williamson County, and that's the second storm back there, and that's the second big polygon here that covers a big area of Williamson County, Davidson County, Cheatham, Dixon, Hickman, Lewis, Murray. That's a big polygon.
Mm-hmm. This says there are 23 active flash flood warnings going on in the United States right now. That's fascinating.
Yeah.
Is it though, really? There's one tornado warning in the U.S., which is in South Carolina. And yeah, I don't think we need to read all the other ones, but there's weather in the world.
Who'd have thought?
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Are we
the
the only two warnings? We're it.
What do you mean in the
Well,
U.S.?
we're the only in Middle Tennessee. We've got the only
In
warnings
Tennessee,
on this.
yeah. Yeah, there's two in South Carolina and two in Georgia. The tornado watch will expire hopefully when that severe thunderstorm warning does. Yeah, there's on our timeline there's just strobe lights like a disco ball in the sky going on with all the lightning.
Yeah, I can hear all the thunder getting closer, a little closer.
Got a couple
to
reports of that severe warned hailstone or hail off Goose Creek bypass in Franklin, which is over kind of if you're going to the fair off 65, take that exit. There's some hail there over by Ladd Park. So that's the warned storm. And it's exactly where you're talking about, Andrew, where those purples are. You zoom in on there. Somebody reported they had hail. So those little purple pixels right there. Yeah. It's
right there at Ladd Park.
Farms by Trinity Park.
Yeah.
Eventually get into Arrington probably, and then get into south of Nolanville. But yeah.
So we can pretty well bet that wherever you kind of see these purple pixels, that's where the hail is going to be, especially right there at Ladd Park, Cedarmont, Nestledown Farms, Trinity Park, Arrington. That's kind of where the main area of hail is.
It's been a long day for these storms, and I think they're just a little tired now.
Mm-hmm.
That's
I mean, the thing about these storms is, man, it would be great to be sleeping during this storm.
Exactly.
This is a good sleeping storm.
Yeah. I'm going to go get some clementines.
There you go.
Ooh, boy, it is raining. My place raining hard. This is the stage of the show where I get delirious, and I don't really care if you witness it.
I mean, if you're listening to us, I mean, thanks. But I could think of a better use of my time.
Let's see. Oh, I turned those off. I thought, man, the flash flood warnings all sort of expired at the same time. There we go. There they are.
I feel like more than like 3/4 of the state is raining right now.
There's a lot of rain. You're exactly right. It's been a very moist storm for sure.
You know, we started 2024 nationally with a tornado drought. And man, is it more than made up for it in the last, 45 days.
Yeah.
By the way, is this chewing showing up on my audio? Because if it is, I'll mute.
No, I don't think so.
All right.
Ooh.
I hate to hear people chew, so I'm sensitive to it.
We just got pretty heavy wind where I am.
There's this tree across the street from me. It looks like the Leaning Tower of Pisa. And I pulled all the cars away from it, and that thing is still holding on to the ground.
Well, I'm building
outside to see if it's falling.
Building a shed in my backyard, and I've got it tarped. So I'm thinking I maybe see this tarp fly over the house here in just a minute, but I really hope that I can't even think about it if that tarp doesn't hold, because all my tools are in there, and that would be bad. So we're doing a lot more than just sitting here and talking, by the way. As we're talking, we are actually watching weather stuff. So we're watching NWS chat. We're watching places where we're getting information here from them. And just seeing if there's anything that we need to be specifically paying attention to here. And right now, it just looks like these little pockets, perhaps, of 60-mile-per-hour winds. And that seems to be about it. We just really don't see a lot else to look at other than a lot of rain.
Just a little south of Centerville. I'm watching it.
Yeah, I was seeing that too.
I'm not excited about it yet, but I'm just watching it. So basically what we're doing is, what I'm doing right now is looking for anything that might be rotating. Because if one thing needs to change our tone, it would be if we thought a tornado was about to develop, and then it's not funny anymore, and our tone will change. So while I might be sitting here eating a clementine, how many of us, 5 of us, are looking for that stuff on these radars and looking into the AWS chat. So don't think my good humor is, me playing Wordle. We are looking for this stuff because there's nothing I take more seriously than that. So,
yeah,
but it looks okay so far.
And it's a lot easier to address that while we're sitting here just kind of hanging out than it is to have to jump on real fast and run through it really quickly.
And I think if you're watching, you learn, if you hear us talking about this stuff, you get a lot more information than us trying to decide what to tell you. I don't believe in hiding information from the viewer, because y'all aren't stupid. You can hear and figure out stuff. So us talking about these things is fine. And I think there's value in you hearing our tone and everything, but just know that we are looking at this. I mean, this has been an incredible day. This day will be studied. We don't know why sometimes these events develop into tornadic supercells and others don't. We don't know why some supercells drop tornadoes and others don't. We don't know why sometimes we have this forecast and it's blue skies all day. Meteorology has a way to go, but there's a lot that we do know. And that's what we're here to tell you, the stuff we do know.
I'll be back in about 30 seconds.
Okay. Well,
What's happening south of Centerville?
there was a little bit of side lobe contamination on one of the views.
And no, let me just say, I am not going to wake my family up. So I would want that to be said, because I know that was a big deal on a stream one time.
You're worried about your tools.
I'm not going to wake my family up.
He's going to get the tarp.
I think it's probably too much coffee.
There's another side lobe contamination in Columbia.
Yep.
There's a number of different places where we're seeing differential velocity, but not correlated to reflectivity.
That's right. Yeah, so as a group, we do what the Weather Service tells us to do in terms of warnings and stuff. But we also, they also teach us a lot of stuff. And one of the things is, how if you've watched TV or watched us before, it's not just about do the reds and the greens, are they side by side? That is only one of maybe 10 things you would look at before you draw a conclusion about what it means. And one of them, there's one like little spike in velocity, meaning the speed of the winds at about 5,000 feet, that is really bright, but it's not an indication of rotation. It's either a small pocket of straight line wind, or it's the radar beam doing weird stuff. I think is the best way to explain it at 2:32 a.m.
Mhm.
Frankly, I don't think anybody should have to listen to an explanation of side lobe contamination at 2:32 a.m. I don't care what the context is. But yeah, the lightning is insane. Most people are like, dude, what's the deal with the lightning? Most of it's down in Williamson County, although there's a fair amount of it up in Nashville. But most of that lightning is going on east on the Nolanville side of I-65. And there's a ton of positive strikes. Those are the ones that really have the base in them that can kind of shake the house. Those are ongoing. So if one of those has woken you up and you have stumbled onto our stream, worried that a big storm is coming. It's a severe thunderstorm warned storm for winds up to 60 mile an hour. Those are straight line winds, but there's no evidence of tornado anywhere. There's no tornado warning. In fact, the only warning for storms is this main line that's coming into southwest Nashville, and then this other storm out ahead of the main line that's just crossed I-65 in Williamson County and is moving towards Smyrna. Towards Cane Ridge and up towards the south side of Percy Priest. Meanwhile, there's two flash flood warnings going on. So if you're almost anywhere in Williamson County and anywhere in Nashville, you're under a flash flood warning. And so if you're out driving, please do not cross any water-covered roads. It could stall your car out. It could carry your car away. Parts of the road may be washed out. Or additional potholes have been put down in there, and suddenly your car becomes a boat, and that's not what it's designed to do. You might lose your vehicle, and then you got to call 911 and get rescued, and it's raining. It's just not cool, so don't even risk it. Andrew's back.
Hey.
How's the tarp?
What's that?
How's the tarp?
Well, I fairly effortlessly tarped the top of my neighbor's house, so it's. I actually didn't check the tarp. I don't know.
Did you just say you tarped your neighbor's house? Are you the Flash?
Well, the wind carried it over there, and just never mind. I'm in this delirious stage. No, I'll check it here in a little bit though. I am anxious to see if all my tools are soaking wet. correct me if I'm wrong, this cell back here in Hickman County and western Williamson County has been undercut by the boundary
Yes.
and looks to be weakening.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So what's happened here, if you go back here, there's a boundary that, like they're over Waverly and all that. These storms were kind of right ahead of that. And then as you go further, the boundary actually undercuts it and
You
comes
can
out
see it in motion.
Yeah, you can see it when it's in motion. You can see that boundary undercut it. And it's just like it just cut the legs out from under a stool. And it just
Looks like
falls
a
down.
curtain came down on
Yeah.
a line between Fairview and Linden.
Yeah. So it just it cut the legs out from under that cell, and it's
Can't imagine that they're going to hang on to that morning for much longer. Oh, of course
Yeah.
I say that, they continue it. Seriously, looking in your Fairview, 9 miles southeast of Dixon.
Here's a look at velocities from TBNA. This TBNA's got a really good look at the wind that just came out of Nolanville a little bit ago. I know some of y'all mentioned the wind in Nolanville, and that's where I am, and it was something there for about 15 seconds, and that's a lot like what this is. So there are winds here at about 62 miles an hour at about 400 feet. So yeah, good warning. There it is. That right there shows you that's 63 miles an hour at 400 feet off the ground. And
I'm sorry. They didn't continue the one we were talking about. We were talking about the one back in Hickman. They did not continue that. They continued the one in Williamson.
Got it. Yeah. So this right here is solid reason to continue the warning. In fact, they might even issue it out east of this as well.
Yes.
Because that right there, this is a great read from TBNA radar, which is up here near the Burkett Place subdivision in Nolanville, and it's shooting down here and is seeing 63, 64 mile per hour winds right off the surface. So pretty sure that there is significant wind gusts going on there, and those are about to exit the warning polygon. So would not be surprised at all if they extend this warning off to the east and include more of Rutherford County. That wouldn't surprise me there. But if you look back to the west on TBNA, we're not really seeing the same thing over here back to the west. Now, part of that is because it also is at a bad angle to TBNA radar. All right, these winds are kind of pushing to the southeast. This boundary's kind of pushed into the southeast. Well, that's exactly perpendicular to the radar beam. That's not going to have a good read on it. So these could be strong winds too. We just don't really know. It's a bad angle to both radars. So it's just tough to tell. Suppose we could go down here to Huntsville, but phew, that's a long way.
It'll be at 8,000 feet plus.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's a mess.
Far. Yeah.
Yeah. It's not even worth looking at. Maybe Hopkinsville. Yeah. Not a lot to look at there.
So that is pushing out of the county. I wonder whether they continue the one to the west.
I am so encouraged by this last line. I mean, it honestly is kind of a breath of fresh air right now that we're not dealing with a big derecho coming through here, and that's. I don't think I really know how big of a blessing that is until I wake up tomorrow and think about it some more, but it's really nice.
I'm starting to see poodles in some of this reflectivity.
Sorry.
You know how like you see clouds and they look like eagles or bears or something? I'm seeing poodles.
You drinking coffee?
Yeah, it's the only way I'm upright, man. And by the way, you've been up longer than I have. I don't know how you're doing it. You're a whippersnapper though. I'm old.
I will feel this one tomorrow. I will feel this
I'm
one
going to be a
tomorrow.
joy tomorrow. I can just tell. I'm looking forward to the Young Sheldon episode, though. I'm a fan. Timeline's full of the Twister trailer dropped, or Twisters. The trailer dropped today, and I'm like, you know what? Too soon. I don't really want to watch that.
Yeah, it was good to watch before this all went down today.
Mm-hmm. Like we saw our friend Rick Smith, who's the warning coordination meteorologist in Norman, Oklahoma. He's like in the background of some of the shots, and I'm sure they didn't make the obvious errors that the original Twister made.
That's still fun to watch.
But it looked to me like, from my takeaway from the trailer was, oh, look, it's a love story. Also, there are storms.
Yeah.
Which is fine. It's just a movie. I still think we should rent out a theater and then debunk all the stuff at the end of the movie. But maybe we won't be able to. Who knows? I know they really tried to make it meteorologically sound. So it looks like that second warning is gone.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
A second severe thunderstorm warning.
So are they both gone?
Looks like they're both gone now. Hold on.
Yep.
Somebody from the Weather Service is about to put something up. All right. So decisions are being made as we speak.
Yeah.
According to the Weather Service. So we don't all clear storms. We make sure that the people in charge say their grace over some of this stuff. So we'll wait to hear from them. The last thing the community needs is mixed messaging. Uh-oh, there's a poodle joke. I deserve that.
Yeah. Chrissy's worried about south of us.
Yeah.
Yeah, any severe weather is going to have to be. It's going to have to be south of this boundary, which is now all the way through Davidson County. And
it's almost through Williamson.
Almost 2/3 of the way through Williamson County.
It's draped across 840 right now.
Yeah. So, like, you're not going to get severe weather behind that boundary. So, yeah, the focus is going to have to be the southern tier of counties of Middle Tennessee, right there where our faces are. Let me pull that up. Down here.
Right there where our faces are.
That's going to have to be where.
Oh, it's on my face.
Oh, my nose.
Oh, my face.
Could do that.
Ooh, look at that. I like that.
Hey.
Oh, nice job, Andrew. I'm starting to understand why people don't call me and invite me to parties after these streams. They see what I'm like when I'm having fun.
And they're like, no
They're
thanks.
like, no, we don't really need that energy at our party. I get it now. By the way, I haven't been looking at any of the comments, and I'm afraid to. I'm sure y'all are.
Well, let's put a bow on this thing.
Yeah.
So here's where we are. There's a lot of green on this map, which is flash flood warnings, and a lot of flash flood warnings. Still have the flash flood emergencies up here in Robertson and Sumner counties, and we have regular flash flood warnings down here in Davidson and Williamson. And as we mentioned earlier, it's going to take a while for this rainfall to percolate through the system, get through the streams, the creeks that go into the rivers, that go into the bigger rivers, and all that water sort of comes through the system of drainage. So it's going to take a while for that to happen. So flooding is possible in any of those places overnight tonight and even through tomorrow. So as the rivers get larger, they'll get the water later. So Cumberland River will be kind of the last to rise. It'll be the last to fall, and it'll do that relatively slowly. So, but the biggest danger is going to be by far around those creeks and the streams and the places where the water goes up and down really fast and can get in places where it's not supposed to go, and take culverts out from under roadways and stuff like that. Those metal pipes that are under the roadway. If those get clogged up and that water rushes over the road, it can pull those things right out of there. And so then you've got a roadway with no support under it. So it's just that kind of stuff is what we have to worry about with flooding, especially the day after as you are out driving around. So, hey, be real careful out there. And, if you get somebody knocking on your door and they're saying you need to evacuate for some reason or another, just kind of be ready for that if you're in a flood-prone area. There's been a lot of waterfall today. What am I missing, guys?
Bed.
So what we're gonna do? We're gonna hop off the stream here, but one of us will stay up until we're ready to issue all clears. And we won't go to bed until we can tell you that you're all clear. So
yeah, we'll do that over on X.
Yep, Twitter X.
Be a long night for Elon.
Yeah,
You can start writing the blog.
For the blog.
Mop up.
I'll go get another cup of coffee and get started.
yeah, right.
There's still some pollen on my car, Elon.
Good thing it's raining.
And then I put it in the garage so that the pollen is fresh for you to look clean.
Sounds about right.
That's great.
All right.
He would do that. He would.
By the way, Elon is really, really smart at this stuff,
yes.
And
yes,
it's just cliche to give him a hard time.
A lot of y'all don't know this, but Elon actually used to sit just to my right here, and he would come over when we would do these live streams, and Elon would sit just to my right and help me make sure that I wasn't missing anything. Y'all never saw him, but he would sit right there and help me out. We had a lot of fun doing those, and I kind of miss those days. But Elon's good at what he does. So all right, well let's jump off of here. Everybody have a good rest of the morning, and we'll see you over on X. Thanks, y'all.